Go for it, boy. Go for it. You have to figure it out. It's like a pluck. Whoa! That was hugely impressive. That's a great job. That's, of course, this makes it the brand blog and the Landsblog. Hey, how are you? I'm in, well, when you watch this, I'll be in Cleveland, getting ready for the Raps Cavaliers game. Now, when I say getting ready for it, it implies that I have some sort of role in it. Of course, I do not. Daily Landsblog, where every day I get a chance to talk to you and to share my ideas with you about mental health and try to involve you in what we're doing here at SickNotWeak, and maybe sometimes just tell you what's going on in my life. Never making the assumption, of course, that you really care about what's going on in my life. But the last couple of days, there's been a huge issue on the table, and that issue has been medication. And unlike almost any other kind of medication, let's see if we can do it again. So cute. Unlike almost any other kind of medication, people will actually say when it comes to psychotropic drugs or psychiatric drugs or drugs for this, they'll say things like, I don't believe in medication, which I know that exists out there, so it's not appropriate just to dismiss people for saying it. It's an interesting way to phrase it, though. I don't believe in medication, implying almost like it's some kind of religion or that it's different than everything else when it comes to meds. It's not. I mean, medication for the brain is like everything else. It's not perfect. It's flawed. There are side effects. It doesn't work on everyone, but there's benefit to it. And I think it's important to listen to the other side, especially when the other side is challenging it because they have their heart in the right place. And when people say, you know, I don't like medication for this, I think you can't dismiss it right out of hand because maybe they're just thinking about what is best for us, and maybe we just disagree. So there's a person on Twitter. Her name is Julie, and it's at Julia_N3. So I wanted to go through some of the things that she said and tell you my opinion. Okay, if you ever decide to stop the medications, wean off them very slowly, agreed. I have gone off them quickly, off them slowly. Weaning slowly is the only way to do it, and even then you can have some terrible side effects. That's a huge issue. Only this time they will have withdrawal plus the unresolved psychological issues. I would say that that's probably potentially true as well. If you go on medication and you don't do counseling and you just deal with the symptoms of depression as opposed to the root cause of depression, then I would agree with that. Each time you go on meds, they give you a false sense of relief, which allows you to avoid this inner working. I think that's probably true. I don't know if it's a false sense of relief, because relief is relief, but certainly just going on medications without psychotherapy, without talk therapy, without CBT, doesn't change your outlook on life, doesn't maybe change what brought you to that point. Let's see now. Doctor explains how antidepressants can destroy marriages and relationships. That to me sounds a bit bizarre, and I don't think that's the whole story. There are certainly side effects of medications that can be a problem. And there are certainly side effects to medications that can affect marriages. But there's no bigger effect in this whole description of what we're talking about on a marriage or a relationship than depression. The fact that one individual is not just ill, but his or her illness is a huge barrier towards the other person's happiness, then I would say anything that reduces depression would be a good thing. And that, yes, medications can have an effect on relationships. One of the things it does is it numbs you. It numbs you to the range of emotions, and the range of emotion is important in a relationship. But if you're talking about cost benefit, I would say the benefit is far greater. Drug-induced emotions produced inauthentic relationships, that's probably true. But here's the thing. We're talking about medications where you really don't have a choice, where you're critically ill, where in many cases you're dying. And they're not perfect, without a doubt. So I agree with all of this, but the point has to be made that there are very few options when you're that sick. And especially very few options that will work reasonably quickly. Xanax, more addictive than heroin, agree. Any of the things that end in PAM, I think are like lorazepam, all of them. And whether it's Ativan, whether it's Valium, any of those. Hugely addictive, big problems. Withdrawal, I've been there. They almost killed my brother, so I get that for sure. Cold turkey up, benzodiazepines, not good. So, you know what? Sometimes when two sides get together, you find that there's a lot more in common. And my point is this: the drugs are really far from ideal. But the furthest from ideal I've ever been in my life was when I was severely depressed. And my point to you is, when you're in that place, don't discount anything. When you are desperate for help, you have to include every single possibility. And you know what? If you're mildly depressed or even moderately depressed, do not go on medication. Don't do it. It's not worth it. But when you're dying, and I've been there, it's worth it. SickNotWeak.com. We're here every day. We're here because we hope that we can provide you with a broader perspective on the world. And most of all, we're here to say to you, you are not alone.